everybody. Happy, beautiful Sunday. Hey, Aunt Sheila, how you doing this nice, sweet day? Uh, and to all you beautiful people, I'm trying to share and invite really quick, guys. So listen, do me a favor, share this, invite your friends today because this is a different type of speak life. But I like it because it's another opportunity for another beautiful woman to be able to share her story unapologetically about some of the things that she's went through in the area of real estate, in the area of home ownership. And so for those of you who, I'm good, little babe, I'm good. So for those of you who already have property, maybe you investing in property, maybe you're a developer in property, maybe you're even looking to buy your first home. This is going to be an amazing story. When Miss Michelle first asked me to help her with the formatting and the editing of this, I was just like, okay, because that was something out of my sphere of influence. And so to all of you beautiful people that's going to come on, I know a lot of you going to join from Miss Michelle Simmons audience. A lot of you going to join from First Baptist Church of Glenarden. I told her, y'all roll deep over there. So listen, come in and support and see how we can get a solution to what's going on with her situation. And so my name is Simone, the student teacher. I'm an educator, I'm a speaker, I'm a book publisher, and I edit. And that's how me and Miss Michelle got hooked up on this project. I first met this beautiful lady when I moved to Maryland 6.5 years ago. And she was the administrative assistant. She was another leader at First Baptist Church of Glenarden. In the class I took, it's called All Things New. Shout out to Miss Deborah Barr and to all of the All Things New family and leaders and students and people that I was able to meet. But that's how I met Miss Michelle. This is a group, a Bible study group, people who are overcoming unwanted same-sex attraction. And I had never heard of a ministry like that before in my life. And so I found it prior to moving to Maryland from North Carolina. And that ministry really changed my life. And Miss Michelle, I'm not sure if you remember this, but I remember it was time for us to get our second book. And Miss Deb asked, does anybody have their, how many people don't have their book? And I ain't have my book. And I showed y'all I was very poor. Like, I just had enough money to pay my bills, and that was it. And I was taking lunch from the classroom to home to eat because that's how much I did not have. But I knew I needed to get to that class. And so I made it my business to get to that class every week. And I couldn't buy my book. And Miss Michelle was like, oh, I'll get her book. And I'm thinking, God, yeah, only you, because you knew I couldn't have got the book. And so when I had my first book launch here, Miss Michelle came. She was very, very supportive. And so when she reached out and asked me about this particular situation, helping her formulate and put it together, I was like, you know what? It is definitely an honor to do that. So you meeting a woman, a godly woman. She's from North Carolina. Aunt Sheila, she's from Rocky Mountain, North Carolina, but she lives in Maryland. So, I always get hyped up when I meet people from North Carolina too. So I was just excited that I have been able to meet her, and now I'm able to share this platform with her so she can get her story out for more people. So if you read the bio of her, you would know, but I'm going to read her bio, and then I'm going to bring this amazing woman out, and we can get into this dialogue because it's really, really good. It's a really good dialogue, but it also breaks my heart to know that people have to go through that. Hey, Miss Joyce, how you doing? And sometimes when you have no idea about something, it kind of goes over your head. But now that I've been in tune to her case, when I'm walking out in the morning, some of I be coming on live when I be going walking, I see little notices on people's doors now. Like, I'm paying attention to what's going on. It's like, wow, this happened to somebody that I actually know. And so Miss Michelle Simmons, she is a single African-American, lifelong Prince George County, Maryland resident. So remember, I told you she's from Rocky Mountain. She's from North Carolina, but she lives in Maryland. Hey, Miss Joyce, I'm doing well. I hope you are doing well, Miss Joyce. And Miss Joyce, I did not forget to send you what I told you I was going to send you. Miss Michelle is a loving mother to one daughter, and she has 3 grandchildren. I was able to meet one of her oldest grandchild. She is so adorable. Nothing is more important to her than her family. And I was able to meet her beautiful mom on Friday. So I'm just all up in the family now. She is a Christian who loves the Lord, and she's an active member of First Baptist Church of Glenarden. This is where, you guys, I told you where I met her. And in her spare time, she loves traveling. She loves spending time with Journey, Israel, and Messiah, which are her grandbabies. And I was able to meet Journey. And she also loves sewing and reading. And so she has a powerful, powerful story that she's gonna come on today and share. So let me get my, I want to get my microphone. I want to get my applause out because when I bring her up, I'm just go crazy when she come up. So welcome to Speak Life. And this is a special Speak Life too, because we are transitioning from Sundays to Thursday nights at 9 p.m. And so this is our last Sunday Speak Life. And so it's special in so many ways, especially because she's going to be up here. So I want you guys to welcome to Speak Life, Miss Michelle Simmons. Miss Michelle.
Yes, Simone.
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm a little nervous, but I'm good. I'm good. I'm ready to get this story told. I'm ready for the world to hear this story. Yeah.
And Mr. I love about you because especially in that class we were in, people come with a whole bunch of stuff, and because you're so calm and you're so easygoing, it makes me like, well, I'm gonna just tell all my stories. So thank you
Yeah.
so much. Like the guys, the way y'all see her right now is how she literally is in person. And Miss
It's
Michelle, like sometimes you meet people, they are not what may be presented on camera or something
right.
like that.
So
But
true.
you are definitely like this in
Thank you.
person too. Thank
Thank you. Thank
you.
you. Yeah. It's nothing but Christ, Simone. It's nothing but God. I remember me years ago and some of my older Facebook friends who may remember me, I've allowed Christ to come in and change my temperament and change the person that He wants me to be. So I'm not what I used to be, but I'm grateful to Him for bringing me this far and allowing the world to see, for you to see, the change that Christ has made in me. I mean, He's been good, and even through this whole issue that I've been going through with my house, people ask me, how have you gone through that for so long? And you don't even look like what you've been through. I'm like, because it really is, it is God. It's the God that I know walks with me and is with me all the time. And He didn't promise me a life filled with good things all the time. I mean, before I bought my house, I would say that my life was just I was on this journey and everything was very peaceful. But sometimes, he has to shake it up for us sometimes. And so as I've gone through this, I've not faltered in my faith because it is my faith that keeps me going, through this. And I just keep moving on because I know that it's gonna come to an end at some point, you know. So
Wow. I love that, Miss Michelle. You know what? This is a question that I don't know. I think it was me. This was a question that I didn't share, but I wanted to share who is Miss Michelle Simmons, and you pretty much summed it up for us out of your own words, like
yeah,
who you are outside of Christ. You would not be who you
I
are.
would not be. No, I would not be. And I get a lot of flack from people about trying to be holier than thou, but I'm just trying to live out the best life that I know that Christ wants me to live out. And if I can, show Christ through the way I treat other people. I mean, I remember you referenced the book.
Mm-hmm.
And it was I didn't even I don't remember. I just when I do things, I don't do them to remember or anything. I just if somebody needs me and if I can help, I'm gonna help. And so that's just I didn't remember that.
Wow. And Mr. J, you
And I'm old too, 7 so my mind ain't where it used to be.
I love older women. We get each other. But,
Yes,
but
yes.
Mr. J, I think like with you not even remembering that, and it's because sometimes people say you sow so many seeds you lose count, and so
Hmm.
like all of these seeds you sown in people's lives, like you're gonna reap a major major harvest with it. And like for me, like I needed, like I really could not get the book, and he
Hmm.
used you, and it's like, oh my God, you answered my prayer and you used Mr. Michelle. Like I'll never forget that because I was in a very
Oh,
destitute state. So I
okay.
am forever, ever grateful for that. And see, we never know how our kindness
Right,
is up.
right,
So, just
right.
never know. So
And it's funny because even as I continue in the ministry because I love number one I love to serve.
yeah.
Serving God's people is one of the commandments that He has for us. It is for us to serve. And, participant after participant, year after year, tell us how, just how kind we are to them. And I'm like, guys, we're treating you the way we're supposed to treat you. We're doing God's work and we're treating you the way God would want us to treat you. So we ain't doing nothing special. We're doing what we're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
So I mean, we just it's just natural for me to just be that person.
Wow.
Um, you know.
Mr. J, you know what I think is so ironic about what you said is that people think that people, when you treat somebody nice, that it's like unusual or not
Mhm,
normal, but it's
mhm.
actually what we're really supposed to be doing.
Exactly. It's what we're supposed to be doing. Nothing. It's nothing. I don't. I mean, it's nothing grandiose for me. It's just a natural thing for me just to be a giver, and I'm naturally a giver. That is my gift. It's serving and giving.
Yeah.
That is the spiritual gift that God, gave me. I'm not a teacher. I don't have this, but this is the gift, and so I want to walk in this gift as much as I possibly can, because it's gonna bless somebody else. And I've been blessed. I mean, I've been blessed. I got my three beautiful grandbabies.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
got a daughter who, I've got a wonderful relationship with. I've got a decent job. I'm healthy. I'm probably the healthiest 58-year-old. I don't take any medication.
Hey, Miss Michelle.
Yes, Emily, I'm 58. Like I don't take any medication, so I don't take my health or anything for granted. I just,
Wow.
I'm so grateful to God for where He has brought me from and where He's brought me to, and what He's going to continue to do in my life. And I know He's going to continue to do an awesome work in my life. I
Wow.
know He is.
He is for sure. Miss Michelle, you look good. I did not know you was 2 years from 60.
Yeah, I
Wow.
have. A few people are like, what? I'm like, yes, I'm 58. I just turned 58 in July.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, happy belated birthday. You
Well,
look
thank you, Seminary.
amazing. You look amazing.
Thank
Oh
you.
man. Oh
Yeah.
yes. This is gonna be good, Mr. J. This is gonna be it's already good. It's gonna be good.
Thank you. And
So
and I want to thank you, Seminary, for even taking the opportunity because it's been this January will be 7 long years that I've been fighting this with my house. And my goal has always been to, number one, bring some attention to this situation and not to have any other homeowner go through what I've gone through. And so I've reached out to so many different news outlets who don't seem to care about what's going on in our communities. People that have promised to write stories and bring awareness to this situation. And I'm grateful to you that God spoke to you and said yes for you to do this. I can't tell you just how much it touches my heart that you thought it not robbery, to do this for me. Um, and I don't know where it's gonna go. I have no idea, but I'm trusting God. I'm just trusting Him through this whole, like I've trusted Him through this whole process.
yeah.
And I'm going to continue to trust Him. But I'm grateful to you. I'm so, so grateful. I can't tell you how grateful I am to you.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
how like you were saying like with the book, you just was doing it. It was just like
Hmm.
I was saying this is the least. This was the least that I could do to like help and use the platform that God's given me to, allow you to share that. So thank you. Thank
Hmm.
you, because whew, thank you. So,
Yeah.
Mr. Michelle, I'm gonna move to this next question. And if
Okay.
those of you who are here, please share, please invite anybody that you know that's in real estate, no real estate law, anybody that's in PG County zone. Well, I don't know if it's zoning. What's the right planning? What's the right word?
Yeah,
Department.
it's actually, so there's different entities that are involved in this thing. From a county perspective, it's the Prince George's County Code Enforcement area. And they are the people that put the code violations on properties when homeowners are not renovating their properties to code. From a real estate perspective, it's the real estate commission because they oversee the real estate agents. And so when real estate agents act badly and do things out violate code, the real estate commission at a state level is supposed to administer whatever penalties they're going to administer. So the third entity that's involved in this is the real estate association, because they that's where the real estate board sits on the association, or is a part of the association. So they're the entity that administers the the mediation that your sales contract says you must do in the event of an issue, um, that we both agree that we're going to do mediation. So there's three different entities that are involved in my situation, and I think in most situations, I think that's the way it is.
Okay, so I got it. So I'm gonna put that in the comments. Like I put the other one here, but guys, if you know anybody that's in the real estate association, tag them. The other two that Miss Michelle said, invite them to come on to hear the conversation. Because sometimes you just need to hear it. Sometimes you need to see a face. Sometimes you need to see the sincerity and the honesty in a person's eyes and heart. Because other people be lying, right? So I want you to tag them and bring them on. So Miss Michelle, like
Mhm.
I've been to your home. It's a very very beautiful home, but of course we know that there's definitely some areas of concern. So
Right.
just to kind of start off, like how long did it take you before you found, what you consider your dream home?
It didn't take me long. I would say maybe 6 months it took me to actually find this property. I had looked at, a few, and I was adamant that I did not want a fixer upper because I'm a single person. Um, I don't have the wherewithal to know anything about renovation, so I knew I didn't want a fixer upper. I wanted a home that was already remodeled. So when I found this one, I thought, oh my God, here's this brand new, 5 bedroom, 3 bath house that was, fully renovated. And my goal has always been to have my mom live with me. And so when I found this home and it had, two different masters, one on the lower level for my mom and one on the upper level, that was, I mean, this is sweet, man. This is the house. And I thought I had did everything that I was supposed to do. I had the home inspection, looked at it again. And it was, there was a few things like in most home inspections, you find some stuff, but nothing blaring that I thought was wrong with this property because it was just renovated. Um, and because the seller of the home was a real estate agent who owned it, you know, bought it to flip it and sell it. I thought, surely you can trust a real estate agent. That's the green in me, right? Thinking, you should be able to trust this person, with a public trust. So, I mean, the home inspection went well, other than a few things that kind of came up that, some things he fixed, some things he didn't. Yeah, so that's that.
So guys, let me just share, because Miss Michelle, my stepdad, you remember the other day I was like, oh my God, are you a Dallas Cowboy fan? So guys, listen, her mom is a Dallas Cowboys fan, like so many other people that I know. And so I don't know if
Shame on them for being Dallas Cowboys fans.
shame on y'all. That's too funny. So, Mr. J, I'm not sure if having, this the second bedroom was like the most exciting thing for you about buying a home, but what was the most exciting thing or the next most exciting thing about buying this home that you found? You didn't want to put it together, fix it up. You wanted it to be move-in ready for you and your mom and your grandbabies and all of that. So what was exciting about buying that home?
I mean, I think the whole home buying process was just exciting, but I think the fact that it had all the space that I needed, um, for my mom, who, I didn't want her to have to do any steps. So it had, like I said, it had the second master on the lower level for her, where she would have her own bathroom. We'd have plenty of yard because my mom loves to do yard work. I despise it. Um, it had, space up for me, space for my, then I had the two extra bedrooms for my grandbabies. Um, and so, yeah, and I think at the time I only had one grandbaby. So Journey was the only one. So, Journey has her own room here,
Yeah.
still, because she's spoiled. She has her own room here. But it's still enough space. And because I wanted my own sewing room, upstairs where the other bedroom is across from my master, there's my sewing studio now. So it had all the space that I wanted, and it was renovated. I didn't have to do anything to it. I mean, I didn't think I had to do anything to this house.
Wow. And Mr.
Yeah.
Chad, the way you describe that, that is like, I want that type of house. Like, have a little
Yes.
help for my mom to come. If I have,
Yes.
I don't have grandbabies, but I can do a lot of stuff upstairs. So,
Yes.
uh,
Yes.
wow. So, when was it that you realized that maybe this agent wasn't telling the truth? Something was going wrong with what you thought was your dream house. When did you kind of realize that?
So when I got my first electricity bill, because the house is all electric, the bill was $500. And I'm thinking, this can't be. Because I also have a job that at the time I was traveling, back and forth to the West Coast a lot. So I was rarely home and nobody else was living in this house but me. And every time I left, I would always turn the electricity down. So I'm like, there's no way, it could be $500. So when I came back from one of my trips, I called up Pepco. I think Pepco was my first call, and they sent somebody out to do an energy audit. The energy audit revealed that the house was not insulated properly, and from there, just it was one thing after the other. Then I found out that the new air conditioning unit that they put in, where it went from baseboard heating because it's an older home. It went from baseboard heating to central air heating, and the permit from the county that was required was not obtained, so it was put in illegally. So that just kind of started me asking a whole bunch of other questions. And because the seller had told me that they had gutted and renovated the house, when you gut and renovate a house, you have to have all kinds of permits and you have to bring all the insulation up to code. And so none of the work that he did was up to code. There was a new air conditioning unit that he put in. He put in new electricity. He put in a new bathroom that wasn't up to code. He took out a structural wall, which clearly needed, a major code. So none of the work that he did was up to code. None of it. Absolutely none of it. And so I tried to go back to him because, as a child of God, when I think about God's word gives us everything that we need for life. I mean, everything, every area of our life that we need help in, he helps us. And one of the things is you don't so quickly try to sue somebody. You go back to that person and you try to work it out if you can. So I went back to him and I shared my concerns with him and he promised to, make it right. And after like 2 or 3 weeks of not hearing from him, I just realized he was not going to do what he said he was going to do because in doing what he needed to do, he was going to have to spend more money because the county, once the house is renovated and all the walls are up and you did not apply for those permits. They just don't go back and give you permits. You have to do the work over. So it was going to cost him money to do the work over. And so yeah, he just didn't. So that after that, I realized I needed to do something from a legal perspective to try to make this right.
Wow. So, Mr.
Yeah.
Chad, do you think this was an oversight or do you think this was intentionally done to you?
No, I think he intentionally did it because um, real estate agents are trained, number one, to know what is required of them. They know that in Maryland, renovating properties without permits is illegal. Hiring unlicensed contractors, which he did, is violates the code, the housing code. So everything he did, I believe, was intentional. Was clearly intentional. Yeah. So
So, Miss Roberta, I'm gonna let Miss Michelle answer your question towards the end, but she says, "What happened, if anything, to the people that was involved in selling the home?" So she would definitely tell you that in a second. My aunt, this is my aunt, Bishop.
okay,
Yeah,
okay,
she says, "No, he knew he was cheap to save money." Yeah.
yes, yes. And so, and the other reason why Seminary, I believe it was intentional, it wasn't an oversight, is because I just happened to be watching YouTube because I'm a seamstress and I sew all the time. I'm always on YouTube. But one YouTube video came up in my feed, and it was a video talking about the executive director of the Maryland Real Estate Commission was speaking to a group of new real estate agents.
Mhm.
And one of the things he said was that real estate agents are told that they are not allowed to renovate their own properties, and when they renovate their own properties, they are required to confirm uh, that the contractors that they're hiring are licensed, because you can't do work in PG County under certain circumstances if your contractor isn't licensed. It violates the code. And the other thing he says is that they get the largest amount of complaints from homeowners like myself, and from in four areas: agents that are renovating their own homes, agents that are hiring unlicensed contractors, agents that are not pulling permits, and agents that are not disclosing. These are all the four areas that my agent violated.
Wow.
So if the state is receiving all these complaints from homeowners, why was my agent not found? Why was he allowed to get away with doing all of this to me?
Wow. That was, and when you were sharing it, I was like, oh man. So Miss Michelle, because some people may not know, but have you read of any cases or know about any similar problems? Because I know you shared some stuff with me and I was able to read it and like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
this happens to a
So
lot of
so
people.
this folder right here is full of articles of homeowners that have gone through similar things in other states.
Okay.
This notebook right here is full of, I don't know, this notebook right here is full of Maryland cases where real estate agents have done very similar things. The acts might have been a little bit less egregious. Like in one case, the case that sticks in my mind is this Caucasian lady, and I hate to make things about black and white because I'm so not that person.
Right.
But as I read these cases in this book that I pulled down off the website, very few African Americans filed complaints with the Real Estate Commission. The majority of the complaints are filed by Caucasian people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so this one lady, as I was reading her case, she bought her house around the same time I bought mine. All the players at the real estate commission, in terms of like the attorneys, the assistant, I think they call them assistant state's attorney, were the same as mine.
Mm-hmm.
This lady paid over $1 million for her house, and the only thing that the agent did was he had renovated her house, but he failed to disclose to her that there was a grading issue with her yard. So as she was moving into the house, her yard started to flood. Um, so they reimbursed this lady because her yard flooded.
Wow.
There was another young lady, and I went to visit this lady because I'm bold.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go talk to you because I want to know how your situation is different from mine.
Yeah.
And the only difference was that the circumstances were slightly different. But she was white, and her house was in, like, I think the richer part is like Baltimore County, I think.
Okay.
I mean, nice house, but her yard was flooding. I also met with a young lady over in Mount Rainier. She had a more similar case to mine, where her agent renovated the house, sold it to her, and she had all kinds of problems. Um, but she was reimbursed for the damages that the real estate agent, caused her. Um, and she said the only reason why she felt like she was reimbursed and she got the treatment that she did was because she took a white attorney with her. She said because she felt like if she had not have taken a white attorney with her to this real estate commission where it's pretty much all white, that
Mm-hmm.
she would have been treated the same way. Now, in my case, I
Mm-hmm.
was told that the real estate agent didn't do me any harm. All of the damages in my house, none of the damages in my house were caused by him
Wow.
because I had the benefit of a home inspection. But so did everybody in this case, this book of complaints I had. So you can't say that my home inspection was the cause of the damages because your agent violated Maryland law. And how he was able to prevail 100% is mind-boggling to me.
Yeah.
Just mind-boggling, mind-boggling. And so I've reached out to the governor, who has been unresponsive.
Mhm.
None of the delegates in my area have been responsive. Oh, they're all like, oh no, that I can't believe that happened to you. That should not have happened to you. That something is wrong. But none of them are willing to get their hands dirty
Wow.
to help me with the situation.
Wow.
Um, I mean, my state senator, she says, oh well, we need to look into creating some laws to help this situation. I said, no, the legislation already exists, but we're not applying it to where it needs to be applied to. And it really is a shame that you treat me differently because of the color of my skin.
That
And that's how I see it.
yeah, and that's so unfortunate, Miss Michelle, and I'm so sorry that you have to go through this because it's like, why would you trust this man to do
Hmm.
what he's supposed to do, and then he didn't like do what he's supposed to do. And
Right.
I know in June, I think it was when the condo collapsed in
Yes. Yes.
Florida. And when I was going through your stuff and reading those cases, it was like, wow, it was very similar for me. And so, like, what are some of your major concerns right now with your house, with them not being able to allow this man to fix stuff or hold him accountable for what he did not do? What are some major concerns that you have right now?
I think the my most concern is that because as the cracks in my walls continue to grow, that at some point my ceiling is just going to collapse. And it's just but by the grace of God, and I know it's just the grace of God, and I will give him all the credit for this, that something major has not happened with this house. I mean, something major. I mean, I've had to redo all the electrical because, electrical is one of those things you don't want to fool around with your electricity. So, but my major concern now is that the ceiling is going to collapse because in renovating the property, he took out a major load bearing wall. But not only did he do that, when he was renovating the upper part of the house, he damaged the trellises. So they're compromised. And so the structural engineer said, it's just a matter of time. Um, it's a matter of time and you need to get it fixed. But because in Maryland, most contractors that are licensed that care about their license are not willing to come and redo work of an unlicensed contractor. And I get it, because they could think they're doing it right, and then I find something wrong with the work that they did, and then it puts their license in jeopardy. So you could be trying to fix something, but yeah. So that's my major concern now, and I can't sell the property because I'm going to lose tons of money. It's affected me financially. Um, I can't I can't renovate it because I can't find a contractor. I can't really stay here because it's going to at some point be unsafe. So I feel like I'm in a catch-22 situation with this house right now. Yeah,
Wow. But we
yeah,
believe in God that these
yes.
who did not respond before are going to respond. New people going to see this and be like, we definitely need to make sure that this man is held accountable and that Miss Michelle is compensated for all the trouble and your house is fixed. And so, with you being such a kind hearted person, I know that there is not like revenge or you want something bad
Mm-mm.
to happen to this man, but what is something that you would like to see done with him and your home just so it wouldn't happen to other people and that you can have peace of mind that I bought this amazing dream home and I want to have peace when I sleep in it at night, not worrying about all these other things.
Simone, that's a good question because I think for me, it's a multi-part answer. So first and foremost, if you buy a home, your contract is very clear. It's a legal and binding document. And there's a clause in my contract that says if me or the seller, have an issue during the sale of the property, we both agree that we're going to do mediation. It's not a if when it's a we both agree. So if I agree that I'm going to do something for you, then I have to do what I say I'm going to do. I think that the ambiguity in these contracts leaves the homeowner with a false sense of hope because at first I sought mediation because that's what my contract said. My contract said I couldn't even go to the next level of litigation without doing this mediation. And to me, that's where it should have stopped. So I want to see these contracts be written so that they're very clear. Um, and don't come back, later and tell me, well, mediation isn't mandatory, because my contract doesn't say it's not mandatory. My contract says we both agree that we will. Now I work in a law firm, so I understand contract law a little bit. I'm pretty intelligent, I think. And if you say you're going to do something, then you are held when you sign my name on that contract. Okay. So that's my first, what I want to see them change is making these contracts clear so that people know. The second thing I want to see done is if if one agent violates the law and does something that violates the law, then he violates the law. It's not where he can do whatever. You can go into like administrative court and they can argue it like it's like state or federal court. This is an administrative body. So the legislation is what the legislation is. If you do X, Y, and Z, these are your violations. So I want to see them, you know, treat people fairly, and just make this a level playing ground, because there's no way this man should have violated as egregiously as he did in my situation and been allowed to walk away and with nothing. Because other agents that have done similar things, they've had their license stripped, they've had their license revoked for a period of time, they've been penalized with a fine, and the homeowner is reimbursed for their damages. Now, I don't know how many homeowners can buy a house and spend maybe $500,000 for it and then turn around and have to redo a whole renovation and maybe spend another 70, 80, 90, $100,000. I don't know how many homeowners can do that. And so you've got to let the legislation and the rules that are out there work across the board. Um, I don't wish any ill on this man. I don't think he should be selling real estate. Um, I think also there was some favoritism going on, because in one of my hearings, his lawyer, and I cringe every time I hear this man's it makes me cringe. He said to me, well, I knew that my client was not going to be held accountable and was no penalties were going to be levied against him. And then in the next breath, he said, because of my long time personal relationship with the executive director of the Real Estate Commission. And that said to me right there that there's some collusion going on. And the state and the county have been in hot water for a long time over this collusion thing. And so I'm convinced of this collusion. I don't have a lot of proof, but I'm convinced in my spirit that there's some collusion going on. Somebody knew somebody, because this man, I mean, the level of violations, I mean, were criminal. They were so egregious. They were just egregious.
Yeah. And it was just like I know when you first told me, I was like, what? This lawyer had the audacity to
Yeah.
say that. But you know, one thing I love about being a believer is that while they know some people,
Mm-hmm.
we
We
know
know
some
some. Yeah.
people, we know some
Yeah.
people, we know the
Yeah.
ultimate. And so I pray for those of you who have tuned in that listen, if you know some people in these offices, in these places, with real estate and in the county office, please connect us. Please connect Miss Michelle with these people, because there's no way that she should be going through this after 6, almost 7 years. And there's no way that someone should still be selling real estate if they're not even able to be held accountable for the things that they're saying they're going to do. Because as you talked about 500,000 plus the extra 90 or 100, that
Mm-hmm.
is definitely a lot of money, especially when you feel like you have signed on the dotted lines. This is how much my house is. This is how much I'm going to pay for. You don't expect to come out of pocket, especially not so soon. Because I know with a home, with a home, there's other upkeeps you got to keep down
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
road. But next week, in a year, or like, you don't expect that. And so Mr. Michelle, I just hope that this can definitely be rectified sooner than later because you've already went through. I'm thinking about First Peter, I think it's 2:9, where it says, "But after I've suffered a while, then God will establish and strengthen me." And
Mhm.
I think that you have suffered enough with your house, and now this is
Right.
establishment, and God will strengthen you, and He will repay you for everything that you went through. And that this agent guy, he will definitely be held accountable for what he did to you. And
Right.
so, any advice that you have for homeowners, buyers? I mean, not necessarily PG County, but definitely PG County, Maryland,
Yeah.
because this is where we live. But what is some advice you can give for like people who are thinking about buying a home or maybe even bought a home already?
Yeah, I think, one of the biggest things that I have learned from this is that you can't trust anybody, which is so bad, so sad to think that we live in a world now where we just can't trust anybody. And so if you're going to buy a house, even if it's a brand new house, well, maybe not a brand new house, but if you're going to buy like a resale home, always go to the county and check the records to see what work was done in the house. What work was done to the house. If you can, get a private home inspection. Get one and maybe pay for the next level of home inspection. Um, you just have to do a lot of you have to do a lot of due diligence. You have to do a lot of due diligence, but you definitely cannot trust. You can't trust your agent or the agent who's selling you the property. You
Uh,
just can't.
wow. What do you think? You think that when you say you're an agent, that's the person that's finding the house for you?
Yes,
Okay.
because in my case, I felt like as soon as I went back to my agent and I told him that this stuff was happening. The first thing he said to me, "Well, if there's anything that I did wrong, I have insurance." Like, I mean, not telling me what I should be doing with this agent. And he just you know, kind of threw his hands up and just acted like he didn't even really care.
Wow. That is
'Cause he'd already made his money.
That's
Yeah,
so unfortunate, Miss Michelle. That's like
yeah,
so unfortunate.
yeah.
Um, Thank you, Miss Vanessa Holloman Anderson. I'm not sure if you know her, but she says, "Pray for someone will do the right thing for."
That's my girlfriend. Hey, Vanessa.
Hey, Vanessa.
She has been with me through this whole thing, and so she knows my whole backstory. I think I've known Vanessa for 20 some years, I think.
Oh, hey, friend.
Yeah,
Wow.
she's definitely my sister.
Wow, that's so cool. And one
Yeah.
other thing she said, we need to send this to all the news media and all the legislation.
Yes.
And I'm
Yes.
definitely going to make sure that I can send it out to as many people as I can. And for those of you who have access to different online platforms, whether it's Facebook Live or podcast, please reach out to Miss Michelle. You can send her a message. If you want to send me a message, I will relay the message to her. But we want to get this story out to as many people as we can because we don't want this to happen to
Yeah.
anybody else, and we definitely want her to be rectified and compensated for all that she has went. And
And
so
Simone, let me just say one thing.
mhm,
I've become a watchdog now.
mhm,
So much so that in my neighborhood, maybe about 2 or 3 years ago, I'm very suspicious now. So when I see things that don't look right, I'm
mhm,
gonna get on the phone and I'm gonna call the county.
mhm,
And so thank God I did, because in three of the three instances that I called the county on properties that were being renovated, um, they were being renovated illegally, and they shut these houses down.
yeah,
The thing that I don't like about the county, which really irritated me, was, I'm calling because I care about what's going on in my neighborhood, and I know the hell that I've been through. So I don't want anybody else to have to go through what I've been through. So I'm going to call and be concerned about my fellow homeowner, my neighbor. But the county, when you call, the attitude that they gave me were like, "Well, is it your property? Like, why are you calling?" Well, I'm calling because it's my neighborhood, number one,
right.
so I should be calling. And too many times we see things that are not right, and we are silent. And I think they bank on us, especially as African Americans, to be silent because our voices have been silenced on so many different situations for so long, and we don't use our voices the way we should. And I'm determined that I'm not going to be silent, because this kind of stuff is just wrong. And so there are like 10 or 15 or more properties now in my neighborhood as I drive around and throughout the county, that the county has put these big red stop work signs on them. And some of them have been there for years. And so what that also does, it brings down the housing values when these signs stay on these houses forever. Nobody ever buys the house, nobody ever renovates it. The yards are all grown up and you see these big red, stop work violation signs on them. It doesn't make the county look good. So as affluent as they try to tell me that PG County is some stuff is going on in this county. So much so that one of the senators, excuse my language, called PG County a black shit show. I think Vanessa might have been telling me that. I mean, that's how they feel about the county.
That is that when I say that's
Mhm.
so unfortunate. And Miss J, what you done, you have shed light on this situation, because even one day when I was out walking, remember I sent you a picture and I was like, Miss
Mhm.
J, look, you was like, oh, that breaks my heart to see those signs. So
Yeah.
now I'm even more aware, like, okay,
Mhm.
let me see. And then to think that the Bible says that we should be our brother's keeper. Now you're
Yes.
calling, looking out for your brother, and they like, or is it your
Yes.
property? Like sometimes the world doesn't understand godly principles, and so it's
Mhm.
like, what the heck you talking about? And so thank you for, even though you're going through what you're going through right now, you're still looking out for other people to make
Yes.
sure that they don't have to go through what you went through already.
Right. Right. And that definitely is my goal to raise the awareness. People ask me, why do you keep fighting? Like, why don't you give up? And I said to you, Simone, if you were somebody who had been convicted of a crime, how long would you fight? Like, if you know in your heart of hearts that you didn't commit that crime and something was wrong, would you stop fighting? Or if you had a loved one who was incarcerated,
Mm-hmm.
you can't stop fighting. I mean, they sit in jail for years until they get that one voice, that one person who is willing to care enough about them to do something about it.
That's so good. So,
Yeah.
Mr. J, I have one other question for you that
Okay.
we didn't really talk about, but what would you say to some man or woman who maybe has a story that they want to share? Because your story is a very, very powerful story, but it's a lot different from what a lot of people share when they come up here. And so what would you say to somebody who has a story, regardless of what it is, who may be feeling shameful, maybe feel like, oh man, I shouldn't talk about it, or just to keep their voice silent? What is something that you would say to somebody who has something that they need to share, but they just kind of apprehensive about sharing it?
I would say that tell the devil to get behind you because the enemy uses our shame
Yeah,
or what we see as shame or what we speak as shame to keep us in bondage.
that's good.
And so we want to not live in bondage in any area of our life. And so when you don't realize, I didn't realize because I'm you know I'm I was ashamed to speak, because I'm like I should have known better. Like I should have I just should have known that this house was not what this man told me this house was. And so using your voice is powerful. It's a very powerful thing. So don't be ashamed. And when you speak, make sure you have a relationship with the person that you're speaking to. You can't share your story with everybody, but there's somebody that you can share your story with. And so that's why for me relationships are so important. And I'm a person that I believe in relationships. And so I knew that I could share my story with Seminary because Seminary has been tried and true, and I know that she can be trusted with my story. So find somebody that you can share your story with, that you can trust, and don't let the enemy use your shame to keep you silent. That's what I would say.
This shit right there. I'm gonna go back and play that part. That is good. Like, oh man, tell the devil to get behind you.
Yeah, them to get behind you. Yeah,
Oh,
and trust me, it's been January will be 7 years that I really have been trying to tell. And I was telling somebody I felt like I wanted to give up because I felt like nobody was listening. But that wasn't the person that God had me to speak to
yeah.
because they wouldn't have been able to share my story. They would have shared my story from a worldly perspective,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
they wouldn't have shared my story from a biblical, from a Christ-like perspective.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they would have put their own spin on it. So God brought Seminary. at the right time for such a time as this.
Wow. I don't even know what to say.
Yeah.
Wow. Mr.
And
Shep.
I want my story told. I want to be able to speak about Christ in my story. I'm never ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ. He is my source. He's not a resource for me. He is my source. So I want my story to be told, and I don't want to alleviate Christ out of my story.
That's good.
It's a testimony. This is my testimony.
That is definitely your testimony, Miss
Yeah.
Michelle. When all the things start happening and reimbursements and renovations come, I want you to be able to share that with everybody.
Yes.
In. So, guys, listen, Miss Michelle Simmons, you can follow her on so Miss Michelle.
Yes.
Tell them how they can follow you on social media.
So I'm not that social media person, really. I do have a Facebook page. I'm Michelle Simmons on Facebook. I think I have an Instagram. I think I'm God's Daughter 63 on Instagram.
Okay.
I started a little YouTube thing, and I think it's called Someday I'll have to send it out to you because I don't even know.
Okay.
See, I'm so not like social media.
Yeah.
I'm a little green in that area.
It's okay. You said
But
God's Daughter.
I think it's God's Daughter 63 on Instagram.
Okay. Yep, I got you. So
Okay. See?
we're gonna follow. And so, guys, listen, if you know of any connections, any other resource, any other thing that maybe Miss Michelle has not talked about, that maybe you can say, hey, you can try this. Send her a message. She not on social media that much, but you can send me a DM. I promise you, I would get the message to her. Miss Michelle, I'm not sure if you want to share your email with them, but we can put her. Want to share?
Yeah, I don't mind sharing my email.
Okay, go ahead.
So it's divine sister _ 20785 at yahoo.com.
BIVINESISTA
Yes.
_ 20785.
Yes.
Okay. So, guys, here is Miss Michelle's email. So, if you know of a connection, know of somebody that we could talk to, somebody else who will allow her to share her story. Because one thing that Miss Michelle was talking about, like, and Miss Michelle, it's so funny that you said, like, put a Christ perspective on. I didn't really think of it like that. But even, you remember I told you, I said I had a guy who helps me with PR, and he was like, well, we don't really want to share this story, right? And it's like, come on, man, I've been featured on ABC and all these places. What are you talking about? And so finding those people who can make decisions, who would say, yes, we will do it, because there's a lot of people who said no, or they would just say, okay, yeah, I want to help you. Oh, that's so sad. But really putting it out there, we need people who really going to put it out there now and really help get some solutions done. So again, I told you guys beginning, First Baptist Church of Glenarden, y'all roll deep. And I know y'all know some people. So let's y'all bring some people together to help support and share this message, and to get Miss Michelle the compensation that she deserves, and no other person should be able to go to that. So, Miss Michelle, like, I am so blessed. I'm so honored that you would even say that, you would even ask me, like, really. So, guys, tomorrow her article, there will be an article that is featured in Miss Michelle, and I'm gonna say it to you when we're done. There's gonna be an article that is featured. There's gonna be a link to it, and so you will be able to read off the article. You will be able to share the link directly to people. And this live broadcast, I'm gonna put the link in that as well, so then it'll be a video link attached so they can see it and they can read it. That way you can pass this off to as many people as you can. If you have an email list, please send us out in your email list. If you on social media, share this with your social media friends, text this to some friends. Maybe you know somebody who knows somebody, maybe your real estate agent, I don't know, some lawyers. Send this out to people so they can know, and they make sure that this doesn't happen to Miss Michelle and anybody else. So, Miss Michelle, I thank you so much for being up here with me today. And I'm going to give you the last final words that you want to share to anybody that's watching, or say anything else that you would like to share.
Yeah, I want to just encourage anybody, if you are going through a situation like this, as hard as it may be, to just, just stay hopeful, and just stay prayerful, and don't let situations like these, as bleak as they can be, you know, cause you to lose hope or lose faith. Just keep your hands in God's hands and just trust that, God is always there with us, even when, what we see in front of us isn't what we want to see in front of us. Just continue to trust him. And Yeah, that would be my, and I think just remember God's track record. If you have a track record with Christ, just remember his track record and just know that he is going to bring everything to full circle on your behalf.
And so I know I said that was the last thing, but is that what has kept you? Is that the things you just told us? Is that all the things you
It
said?
is my faith, Semine. It is my faith that has kept me. I've gone through a lot. Not just with this situation. There have been other personal situations that have been going on in my life, but the one constant for me is my faith in Christ. I never lose my faith in Christ. I never. I'm a glass half full person, and I trust God with every area of my life. Every area of my life. I don't care what it is. I'm gonna look to Him, and it's either gonna be yes, no, or not right now. And I just trust Him. I really do. Um, and I just try to live for Him. I don't do it perfectly because I can't, but I try to live a Christ-centered, Christ-filled life. I try.
That's
Yeah.
powerful, man. That's
Hmm.
that's like so bad. I know.
Yeah.
Like, listen, that
Yeah.
said, Amen. Miss Joy said, Amen.
Yeah.
Wow. And you can
Yeah.
tell Miss Michelle too, because I mean, literally, you think about what you just shared tonight, and you was only give us a summation of it, but you had to live in this house for
Hmm.
all this time.
Hmm.
That you come on and you're still so poised and you're still believing
Yes.
God, and God is
Mhm.
still good, and God is still the center of your life. And I can think about even some of the things that I went through that, and while we don't compare situations, that wasn't something major like a housing situation like that, where I kind of want to just be like, well, God, you know what I'm saying? How people can lose their faith over so little, but
Hmm.
yet you have such a strong stance. And so, thank you. Like, so,
Yeah, and I must say, that God has given me wonderful, I don't have a lot of friends,
mhm,
but the ones that I do have, like Miss Vanessa,
mhm,
I mean, you know, God has put women in my life who I can go to with anything. I mean, and these women are there for me. So when I need to vent or when I'm feeling down or anything, you got to find yourself some like-minded people, some people that are on the same journey that you're on the same path. And so they're going to hold you up. They're going to hold you accountable. They may jump in your stuff sometimes, but you know that they're doing it because they love you. So I've got like 5 people
mhm,
in my life, women who
mhm.
I know are there for me. And they have held up my arms. Like my arms are like, yeah, I couldn't have done this alone. I just couldn't have, you know.
Wow. And
We
that's
can't,
so,
we don't do this journey of life alone. We just don't. Yeah.
and it's so important to talk about relationships, because at the beginning you talked about how like relationships are important. You definitely into
Mm-hmm.
those relationships, and when we don't, and what I found, Miss Michelle, for a lot of people, especially like with social media, just become another outlet. But when people
Mm-hmm.
don't have those people that they can privately talk to, that's why you see a
Yes.
whole bunch of stuff posted online and they going at each other, because it's like you don't got nobody you can go talk to about this first.
Right.
They gotta give
Right.
you some sound reasoning behind this. So Miss Michelle, bless you, bless you, bless you. I'm
Thank
glad we're
you.
able to do this. You're welcome to come back any other time. If there's something extra that you want to talk about or something
Okay.
else we could do, we can do it on Thursday at 9 o'clock. Anytime. So again, for those of you who are
Thank
watching,
you, Saturday.
thank you, Miss. Like this, this has blessed me more than you know. Like this right here is like the summation of it all tonight. I'm
Oh,
like what?
thank you so much.
You are
I
welcome.
really appreciate your platform. I really do.
Thank you so much, Miss Michelle. And guys, I always tell you, older women love me, and I love them. This thing's almost about to be 60.
Simone, because you're so easy to love. I remember, us being sitting in class together, and where I don't have the same journey that you have. I have my own struggles. And, we would always say in All Things New, if you take the title off that book, we all the same.
Yeah.
We all the same. We got some stuff that
Yeah.
we're going through. And I have always loved your spirit. You've got the best spirit. I'm telling you, you have blessed me with some of the prayers that you've prayed, some of the, just you have just been a blessing of, and as I said to you, if there's anything that I can do to help, your student teacher journey, I'm here for you.
Yeah.
I'm here for you. I'll be your cheerleader. Yeah, because you are, yeah, you're it. Yeah. These kids are blessed. They're lucky and blessed to have you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh
So,
man. See, I told y'all I'm blessed. See, I'm blushing over here with Miss Michelle. Guys, you never know. And guys, listen, honestly, if it was not for that class, that all things do with Miss Michelle and Miss Deborah Barr, you guys would have never seen me talking, because one of the things we had to do was start to share our testimony. I'm thinking, I ain't about to tell this to nobody, so I don't know what y'all talk about, but here we are
right.
all this time later. And so that class was a foundation for what I stand on, them, Miss Michelle. So I will be forever grateful to.
Yeah, and I think someday, if you don't mind, I think what I would like to tell people, if there is somebody in your life that is struggling with unwanted same-sex attraction, the ministry is also here. I love, Deborah Barr is a servant leader.
Yeah.
The ministry is a place of trust.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good place. And we also have a family support ministry. So if you are struggling with a family member and you don't know how to minister to that family member, or you just need some extra support, as a family, we're here for you. My daughter lived a homosexual lifestyle for close to, all her junior high and high school years. And so that ministry was there for me. Which is why I continue to serve, because my daughter, did, and my daughter doesn't mind me sharing it, because we shared our testimony jointly together. So my daughter doesn't mind me. That was a part of her journey,
Mm-hmm.
and so that ministry is there. And because we're all now virtual, anybody can join. We have our first international participant this year, so we're so excited.
Yay!
So I mean, the ministry is global, and we just want to make sure that people are led back to Christ and understand what Christ is saying about the lives that we live. Whether you live in a homosexual lifestyle, you're alcoholic, you're a drug addict, you're sex outside of marriage. It's all filthy sin to Christ. It's nothing. No sin is worse than the other.
Yeah.
So that's my plug for First Baptist Church.
Amen. And you see, that's why I was able to go and talk to these women, because they would just listen and give you counsel and be
Yes,
so loving. Like,
yes,
so
and we
guys,
love on them. Yes, yes,
and guys, what you see, I'm telling you, what you see with Miss Michelle right now, it's just like that in person, but it's so much more loving. And
oh,
she done said it all. So if you know somebody, or you a parent or family member or something, and you need that outlet because you can't deal, or it's like you just don't understand, please talk to them. I'm glad that I was able to get through that, because had I known that ministry, or known about what, I don't know, it had my mama known about, I think that probably may have been something for her, that she may would have considered. So for those of you who are in Maryland, who you shared your story with me with your children and whatever, I am a product of this ministry. And you don't have to be a member of First Baptist Church of Glenarden.
right,
One thing I
exactly.
love about it, because I was never a member. I was still at my own church. And so you don't have to be a member of their church to be a part. And it's not like if you get certain benefits because you're a member or not a member, we're all treated the same. And so this is definitely a platform or opportunity for you to reach out. So you can reach out to her for several reasons: the real estate and to get the soul
Yes,
right. Okay, so those are the two ways you can reach out to Miss Michelle. So Miss Michelle,
amen,
thank you for bringing
amen.
it up, because
Yes,
I didn't know we was gonna get into it, but just like guys, like, because it even with our stories, Miss Michelle, it always points back to Christ.
it always, and that's why we don't do a lot of planning, because we plan and he laughs.
Wow.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Wow. So Miss Michelle, again, I love you so much. Thank you so much for sharing this with me first, and then coming on and talking about it on Speak Live. This has really, really blessed me. And so guys, listen, look out for the replay. Please share this, tag your friends, share this, please, and you will see the link tomorrow with the article, and the video is going to be attached to it. So please do your due diligence for us. Help us share the spread the word, because we don't know who you know, and you guys don't know who we know. So we all bombarding the different people or the same people. It's like, oh wow, I seen this come up one time. Oh wow, I seen this come up one. You know what I'm saying? The more they see, it's like, oh, we got to take notice of this. So let's share this and share this and share this. And then my aunt says, thank you. So thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. And I would say, not just, people, flood heaven's gates with some prayers.
Yes.
Because, the prayers of the righteous, where the two or more come together. So, it's good to talk to people, but definitely definitely pray for me. I'm giving you permission to pray for this sister.
We are praying
Yes.
for Miss Michelle.
Yes.
We are praying for this situation for real. So,
yeah.
Guys, listen, y'all have an amazing night. I don't know what y'all do at 7:00. Miss Michelle, did you cook today?
I did.
Oh, see?
I did.
This is why I need the mothers, because they cook, and I don't be cooking like that.
But Simone, let me tell you, I don't do a lot of cooking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't do a lot of cooking. I really don't. I'd much rather go eat out.
Me too. I done got better. Mr. J, are you one of those mothers who said, I used to cook a lot when my child was growing up, so now I don't cook now?
I really didn't cook a lot when my child was growing up.
See that? You feel me? I would be.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
I love it. That's kind of mom I be. We going out, baby. You want to go out to eat? Let's go out.
Yeah. Let me tell you. Normally, because my mama here for like a week.
Yeah.
Normally, my mama is in the kitchen cooking, and we get to explore when my mama comes. But I was like, I didn't want her to have to cook today, so I cooked.
Oh.
I fed, and my daughter was here with the grandbabies, and so I fed them. But they ain't gonna get no food for the rest of the week. Probably my mama.
I love that. We busy, okay? We not you ain't get no cook food for the rest of the week. I love that. Oh man. Miss Cher, this has been a delight to have you on tonight. And
likewise, kiddo.
Here, thank you to Miss Vanessa, to your friends, to Miss Sheila, to Miss Joyce, to Miss Roberta, and to all the other beautiful people who came on that I didn't see, or maybe I overlooked your name. It's definitely not personal. So you can come back and you're watching a replay. Definitely let us know your replay. Please send Miss Michelle some messages, even just messages of encouragement, messages of prayers in your private time. You can send her a prayer because we are definitely believing God for a good outcome.
Yes, amen. Amen.
So thank you so much, guys, and we will see you guys on the next episode.
Thank you so much for everybody who tuned in. Thank you very much. And for everybody that was on Facebook Live or Instagram or, Twitter or, Snapchat.
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
See?
Yes. Okay. Bye, everybody. Thank you.